I'm gonna say something that sounds strange coming from a coach. I haven't chased motivation in years, and I've built more in that stretch than in all the years I spent waiting to feel ready. So when someone tells me, Rocco, I can't stay consistent, I start strong and then I fade, I tell them the truth. You don't have a motivation problem. What you have is a standards problem. See, here's the thing in personal development that nobody wants to really admit. The entire industry is built on selling you motivation. The hype clip, the cold plunge at 5 a.m., the voice screaming at you to want it more, and it works for about 48 hours. Then Tuesday comes, it's raining, you didn't sleep, the motivation's gone, and you're right back where you started, waiting to feel ready again. You cannot build a life on a feeling, and that's all motivation is, a feeling. So let me give you a better way to think about this. Motivation is like weather. Some days it's sunny and you feel unstoppable. Some days it's gray and you can't get off the couch. You don't control the weather, it just happens to you. A standard is climate. It's the baseline. It's what's true about you no matter what today happens to feel like. Weather changes by the hour. Climate is who you are. And most people are trying to run their entire life off the weather. No wonder they're exhausted. Now, here's a line I want you to actually sit with. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your standard. Your goals are up here, they're big, they're shiny, they're written on a vision board somewhere. But in the moment, when no one's watching, and when you're tired, and the day fell apart, you don't perform at the level of your goal. You perform at the level of the standard you've quietly accepted for yourself. So the real question was never, how do I get motivated? The real question is, what have I decided is acceptable for me on just an ordinary day? Because that's the number you actually hit. And here's where it gets real. This is the part I build everything around. A standard isn't something you do, it's someone you are. When you say I work out 3 times a week, that's a goal. And you'll negotiate with it the second life gets hard. But when you say, I'm someone who doesn't break promises to myself, that's an identity. An identity doesn't negotiate. That's the whole game. You're not trying to white knuckle a behavior. You're deciding who you are and then letting the behavior fall out of that. Break the belief that you need to feel ready and build from the identity instead. So how do you actually do this? Because most people here set a standard and they go set one 10 miles too high, miss it on day 2 and feel like a failure. That's backwards. Don't set the ceiling, set the floor. Your floor is your worst day minimum. The thing you do when you've got nothing left in the tank. Maybe your goal is an hour at the gym, but the floor is, I show up and move for 10 minutes no matter what. Maybe your goal is 1,000 words, but the floor is, I open the document and I write 1 sentence. Just one. The floor is sacred because the floor is what protects your identity on the days the weather is bad. And it's the bad days that decide who you become, not the good ones. Anybody can show up when they feel great. The standard is for everybody else. Now let me give you the thing underneath all of it. The reason you keep waiting to feel ready is that the ready is the story you tell yourself. So you can stay safe and stay exactly the same. And there's always a reason. Not enough time, not enough sleep, not the right moment. Every single one of those reasons is a negotiation with the person you're trying to become. A standard ends a negotiation. There's nothing left to decide. You don't ask yourself if you feel like it. You already know what the standard is, so you just go do it. And that, by the way, is freedom. Real freedom is not having to negotiate your entire life every single morning. So here's what I want you to do. Not someday, this week. Pick one area, just one. Your health, your business, your relationships. Pick the one that's been quietly bothering you the most. Now define the floor. Not the dream version, the worst day minimum that you will hold no matter how you feel. Write it down somewhere you'll see it every day. And then hold it for 30 days. Not because you're motivated, because it's your standard now. And on day 9, when you don't feel like it, that's not a reason to quit. That's the entire point. That's the rep that actually builds the person you're trying to become. Because at the end of the day, motivation was never the thing. Motivation gets you started. A standard is what's still standing when the motivation is long gone. You don't need another hype video. You don't need to feel ready. You need to raise the floor and refuse to drop below it. Raise your standard and watch how fast everything else rises to meet it. And if you want to do this around people who actually are doing the work instead of just talking about it, that's exactly what we built inside the Frame Breakers Inner Circle. It's where we hold the line together and stop negotiating with the smaller version of ourselves. The link is in the description. Come build with us. And if you haven't done so, subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.